Hello guys and girls, and as you're coming on, I want to welcome you here this morning, Wednesday, from Sydney, realestate.com.au's offices here at Level 17. I've got the team with me, behind the scenes, the backstage team, and I've also got Danica, who has orchestrated being the architect of this webinar. We have an hour where we're going to spend time looking at what you've got to do to get hidden listings over the next 3 to 4 months and help you have your best year ever. I want to let you know, in case right now, by the way, if you've got an agent that's sitting there in your office and you're watching this, and this agent is someone that is whinging and saying, there's no listings in the market. It's all too hard. The other agents are doing it at low fees. And they're just the kind of agent that's got misery all over their face. Call them and get them to sit down with you right now, because this is a crucial conversation they need to hear. Guys and girls, let's get cracking. I'm going to let you know, I'm going to be speaking through the camera. You're also going to be seeing slides at the same time. And at the end, I'm going to answer some questions that have come in previously to Danica. So I'm going to move on to my first slide and let you know the game has changed. No longer do people sit in front of the television all the time in the world, watching a show and watching the Arnott's commercials and watching the Flight Centre commercials and then waiting for the second part of Neighbours to start. That world has changed. What people do now is actually probably not watch TV. Probably, if they do watch TV, are watching recorded show and they're fast queuing through the commercials, or they're watching TV and looking at their mobile phone. Why? Because the world has changed and your consumer of 2017 is now what I call time poor. They're hustling to manage their time. They're running around. They're taking kids to sport, kids to afternoon activities. They're rushing. They're looking at their emails because they're still working at 8 o'clock at night. What else are they doing? They are probably trying to get the food ready, or they're using Uber to deliver food to their house. And I'm telling you, you've got to start thinking like the consumer in 2017, because what else are they? They're highly informed. See this mobile phone? Listen very carefully. This thing is a weapon. It is an absolute weapon. And if you master this mobile, you're going to understand how you're going to win the digital and social interview in 2017 and be an attraction agent. Remember this, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. There are no more blind dates in real estate. Everyone knows everything. People are Google stalking you as we speak. People are going in there, typing your name into the Google box and writing the words real estate afterwards. Do this, try that experiment. And what you'll notice is that in 9 times out of 10 that I've tested, what comes up is the realestate.com profile page, which means you've got to dominate that page. That's one of the steps of an attraction agent in 2017. And of course, they're socially media savvy. Pretty much today, you're going to be on Facebook or Insta, LinkedIn, a few times. Now, a lot of people say to me, oh, Tom, yes, but it's all young people. Absolute rubbish. Think about it. A 60-year-old on Facebook takes ages to scroll. You've got more of their attention. Have you thought about that concept? Have you thought about the fact that right now, consumerism in 2017 is about what the market says to the market, not what you say to the market. And in this webinar, we're going to cover what you've got to do to be Attraction Agent 3.0. That next slide there talks about it. 2017, Attraction Agent has changed. Hey, 30 years ago, who was the real estate agent? The girl or guy that never got to uni, that wanted to wear a suit, that walked around with a mobile phone, had a Mercedes-Benz, and was out there saying, hey, I'm a property person. I'm also the justice of the peace. Hey, the world's changed. What are we seeing now? Agent 3.0. We had a gap, Agent 2.0. Some structure, some systems. Oh, we had a database. Agents had these 3x5 cards and they started writing hot buyer, medium buyer, or cold buyer. Think about it right now. with one press of a button, you can get 50,000 people to watch a video of a property, and they might be in New York and you might be in Turak. That is how the world has changed. I'm also telling you, real estate now is a real marketing game. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And how do you win that game? By becoming an attraction-based agent, by having really sophisticated marketing. And what you've got to do is become people's agent before they need an agent. So Agent 3.0 is what I talk about. In the real estate gym, what I've noticed is the 3.0 agent is this. They're highly trained, they're educated. They look good, they look the part. They're not sitting at Rockpool at 3:30 in the afternoon carrying 15 extra kilos, drinking their 6 glass of wine, having a cheese plate, and they've got, stain marks on their shirts. No. These girls or guys have gone pro. They are out there and they're hustling and grinding 24/7 because they decided to swap slaving 9 to 5 in the corporate world. Why? Because they can make a great living, have a great life being a real estate pro. Attraction Agent 3.0. And guys and girls, by the way, Danica, who is head of marketing communications at REA, has told me that a survey went out there on what you're doing to win business. And I think that went out on Friday, did it? Around that time. And if you fill it out, and I think it will take you about 5 minutes to complete, send it back, the winner gets a free real estate gym membership and a one-on-one coaching session with me. And I'm warning you, if you are the winner, I'm telling you straight, come prepared, because I tell you as it is, not as you'd like to hear it. And sometimes you got to hear the truth. And the truth of the matter is right here, right now, I want you to know you've got to play big. You've got to have your future bigger than your past, because your competition now, Agent 3.0, they are out there and they're outworking the competition, and they're doing everything. They're smashing it online. They're smashing it on social. They're smashing it on video. They're smashing it in print. They're out there prospecting. They're doing everything because everything works in combination, not in isolation. They're running a process-driven business. They've got what I call a marketing calendar that is set and forget. What they're basically doing is they are treating their real estate operation like it is a McDonald's business. And they're not owning the office. They've just got their little business unit where they've got 1 or 2 assistants, and they're out there and they have capacity to turn over a lot of real estate. So gang, let's move on and talk about Agent 3.0. Agent 3.0 is that high-performing agent, and there is the path. So right now, if you're watching this video, you might be a junior agent. Listen very carefully. Every winner was once a beginner. Don't ever compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10. Your job in the early stages is to treat your first few years in real estate like a university degree. Sponge, copy and paste, copy and paste. And don't do what bad agents do, which is copy and cut. I want to move on to the next slide there. And the next slide there is talking about being an attraction agent versus a transactional agent. So let me just say this. When you're an attraction agent, your brand, your signboards, your profile, your video, the fact that you dominate just sold, the fact that you dominate listings in your suburb means that you are going to get more people calling you in. It is a fact of life. The agents that have got the stock, get the stock. The agents that have got the sales, get the sales. The law of attraction says you attract more of what you got. You got Premier, you get Premier. Think about this concept. If you walked into the Hilton Hotel, you will be paying $10 for a glass of Pellegrino water. It is a fact of life, because that's the deal. That's the way it works. The law of attraction is that brand is everything. And brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. I want to move on to the next slide. That's the model. That's the model, guys and girls. Have a look. Early stages, it is chase, learn. Middle stages, put on a PA and start being organized. Then it's about team structure and running a business unit. And every agent that I know that is writing between 1 million and 5 million in GCI is running these levels. Have a look. First level agent, second level agent, third level agent, fourth level agent. We might move on to that next slide. And what you're seeing is that what they've got is a unit. Now, the decision for you to put on an assistant is a big one. I get it. Right now you're thinking, hey, $50,000 to pay someone else out of my earnings, that's a big cost. It's not a cost. It's an investment in the profits. That's right, it's an investment in the profits. And I'm telling you straight here right now, you have to get an assistant that is going to do your database work, prepare your marketing material, help you with your pest inspections, building inspections, valuations, go out there and actually help you with some of your callbacks. Make sure that your back end is really good. There's a lot of work that's got to get done, because if you're making more than 3 sales every month, you need to have support. And I've never, ever seen a great agent without having an epic team behind them. And that is a business unit model. When you start thinking about Gav Rubenstein, Alex Phillips, Matt Steinway, James Tostervern, when you start thinking about Michael Clark, when you start thinking about all the big agents, I'm telling you straight, they've got a business unit behind them. It's as simple as that. So you've got to make that decision that if you're going to go pro, you're going to have to hire a staff. And I'm going to say to you that in a moment, I'm going to give you a position description, but here's a really great story for anyone out there, a guy or girl that's tuned in today on this webinar by realestate.com.au, and you're in pain. Things are hard. Listen to me very carefully. That guy on your screen right now is called Taney Jane. He has been in real estate for 2 years. He wrote over $1 million in his second year. He's not selling mansions in Double Bay or in South Yarra. He works in an average marketplace of under $400,000. He uses one simple strategy. The agent that generates most amount of appointments wins. End of story. We can cut the crap here. If you're in a hurry and you've got to go to an appointment, leave this webinar now, knowing that all you've got to do is prospect, prospect, prospect. It is the cure to everything. 2 hours of prospecting a day is going to change your real estate life. 4 hours of prospecting a day is going to change your whole life. End of story. So I'm going to say to you, you've got to master prospecting. And he won the My Prospector competition in 2016 in November. He made 2,100 calls. That's right. That's 100 calls a day in a month. He got on the phones. He blocked out his diary because he made a decision that he was sick and tired of knocking on doors, working, trying to sell Foxtel and mobile phone plans, making $50,000 a year. And today, this guy there is a $1 million GCI rider. Well done, Taney. Big applause. But you know what? I want you to use this as a role model, because if he can do it at under $400,000 price tag, what can you do in your marketplace? So you've got to ruthlessly eliminate excuses. What are the excuses? It's too hard in my market. Oh, the other agents are cutting their fees. Hey, that's life. Let's face it. We live now, margins are shorter than ever. But what I can tell you is that agents that dominate, get to what I call pinnacle level, and they control the marketplace. And that's what I want you to do. Want to move on to the next slide? I said it before, and that's the visual. 2 hours of prospecting a day is going to change your real estate life. 4 is going to change your whole life. AM, we find our business. That's right. PM, we manage our business. That's what I want you to do. Start having a pattern of work. Our next slide there talks about an ideal week. I'm really, really big on structure. I don't want 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. That's rubbish. You can't be treating yourself like you're at year 7 at school. But what I can say to you is you need to block out time in the morning like I have on that ideal week. You need to be able to sit there and say, that's it. I'm never going to talk to anyone else but potential vendors between 9 and 11 each day. You might turn around and say, my system is 10 calls before 10 a.m. I don't know what it is. All I'm saying is treat prospecting as if it's an open for inspection. Let's move on. Next slide. I didn't talk about it. This is our second webinar. We spoke to the first webinar, and guys and girls, you're very lucky because you get the second one. And the second one is always better than the first one, even though I told Danica and the team here that it'd probably be worse. I actually think this is going to be better. And the reason I say it is that I've just realized that one of the things that I didn't cover in that first webinar that I should have is that really great real estate agents don't participate in interest rates, don't participate in the government, don't participate in competitors. What they participate is in the bottom of that triangle, their passion. They make passion their paycheck, their product knowledge. They're a problem solver. They have crucial conversations. They've got structure. They've got high levels of energy. They're prospecting. They're database management. They're all controllables. And the minute you make the decision to drop the bullshit story where you say that it's out of my control, I'm telling you straight, things get better by choice, not by chance. No one comes to the rescue. I'm hoping that this webinar is the wake-up call to realize that you have a future much bigger than your past, and that is only a decision away. That decision is to start implementing some of the things that I'm showing you, some of the things that you probably already know. But you know what? You know it, and I know it. You know what you know, but do you do what you know? You know what you know, but do you do what you know? Are you doing the stuff? Are you out there sitting in front of a vendor telling a vendor, can I give you a marketing program to make you happy or one to get you top dollar? Are you sitting there in front of a vendor showing them how they're going to get a 10% premium on the property because you got an unstoppable listing presentation? Are you showing there your vendor that you take high class photography? Are you out there explaining to a vendor that unless they're on page 1 of the search results, they're building a billboard in the forest? Are you dominating in your marketplace on digital, social and traditional? That's the question that you've got to make a decision on. The question you've got to make a decision on is this, right here, right now. Have you got a backup plan? Because if you've got a backup plan, you're playing the wrong game. You've got to be all in real estate. Let's move on. I'm fired up now, Danica. I don't know why, but I am. Might be this coffee. Did you get a week? Normal.
No, I actually got a week.
You got a week, okay. You were trying to use a placebo effect on me there. Okay, gang. Tracking hot sellers. I love this template. I love this template. Why? Because too many people worry about this big fat database that's got all these people in the computer, names, mobiles, emails, and they haven't met them. They don't know who they are. It's all over the shop. You know I'm talking to you. What I prefer is a simple Excel sheet that you carry with you as a subset of your database, which is tracking your hot sellers. Have a look. Hot people. People that are going to come on the market in the next 30 days, the next column, 30 to 60 days, then 2 to 6 months, a year, when the time is right, and your hot buyers. If you're a great real estate agent in 2017, that's all you need. You need that piece of paper with you, and you carry that with you. Because every time you don't call one of those people in the hot or the 30 to 60 day column is a minute you're giving your competitors to call them. And I don't want you to do that. Because I want you to know the stakes are high in real estate. You miss out on one listing, you're missing out on 3. Why? Because listings get listings. So start using that template. By the way, a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you, I've just taken out of my real estate gym, the thousands of members that contribute content and information that is curated by that audience. I get it and I share it with you. And at the end of this webinar, I'm going to tell you on how you can participate it if you want to. But don't worry, I don't care if you don't. Because I'm not a commission breath salesperson, and I don't want you to be a commission breath salesperson. I want you to only pitch things that you believe are valuable for them and can help a client. That's when you can move away from being desperate, saying, please pick me, versus saying, no, I'm bringing something to the table. Let's move on to my next slide. A marketing calendar. You need it, set and forget, 12 months, things going on, like a process, and what's actually happening is people call you because they want to sell their property because marketing is working in combination, not in isolation. The marketing calendar is in the real estate gym, and each element is explained by video or has been taken off another agent, and it becomes a process and a system to allow you to be immersed in the community using a number of elements. Whether it's Nike, Apple, Coca-Cola, or whether it is a local community, you'll notice that they have a marketing machine working. And I'm telling you right here, right now, if you want to be an agent that is writing consistently more than 500,000 in GCI over a long-term career, and you want to be aiming to be a $1 million agent, prospecting is not enough. You need to have a marketing calendar in place, because what gets business is your lead generation machine. Lead generation is prospecting and marketing calendar. Let's move on. I want to talk to you about the game of brand. Like, let's face it, you know those Nike shoes that you're wearing? You did not buy them because you love the sole. You bought them because you love the white strip that says, it's Nike, I'm cool. You know, everything that you're doing is affected by brand. I'm telling you straight, right here, right now, red wines with a Grange label on it taste better than not. Brand affects your taste buds. In red wine studies, they take a bottle of wine, they rip off the $20 label and they put a Grange on, and people say, oh, that wine tasted beautiful. Black currants really, lingered in my mouth. I'm telling you, it is a brand game. And real estate now is all about becoming the brand in the marketplace that attracts the passive vendor. So how do you win the brand game? It's pretty simple. I've broken it up in that slide. You've got to win the digital interview, which is realestate.com video. You've got to win the social interview, which is Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook. You've got to win the traditional interview, print, signboards, direct mail, magazines. That's how you win in real estate in 2017. So let's move on, and I want to actually show you how to be a digital attraction agent in 2017. Look at that slide, one pager. Number one, upgraded listings on the internet. Number two, and by the way, a good piece of dialogue to convince a vendor to upgrade to Premier is this: Mr. and Mrs. Vendor. Unless we're on page one of the search results, we're going to build a billboard in the forest. No one's going to notice you because you'll end up going into the congested world. So that's why I think you should be investing in that. I think you should also be really big on videos. Go to Ashley Weston of Ray White Ray White Frankston. He's got an incredible realestate.com profile page. Check him out. Really good. The next one is sold pricing on your database. Let's face it, this crap, I'm not going to put my price there because I'm going to dangle the carrot for them to ring me. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. That worked 10 years ago. In 2017, you have to be the disc jockey, the curator of information. You've got to be the agent that gives them the information and not just your sold pricing. Why don't you do this for a change? Why don't every Saturday afternoon you have a template that sends out all the auction results? And you know what? You can actually do that because realestate.com.au provide auction results on a Saturday night. So you can actually become the curator of information by sharing content out there. That is what people are doing to dominate SEO. And I want people to understand the difference between SEO and SEM. SEO, search engine optimization. SEM, search engine marketing. Don't compete in that marketing game. I'm telling you, it's too expensive. 2009, bargain buying Google. Not now. What you want to do right now is just win in your marketplace by actually just having your total marketplace brainwashed that you are the agent to go to because you're at pinnacle level. Agent rating sites, here's my deal. Do I like them? Not really. Do I think they work? Maybe if another agent in your area is pushing them. So all I say is just try and dominate on everything. And other things on there you'll notice is I'm just massive on video. Anyone that follows me, free online or on Real Estate Gym knows it's video, video, video. It's all about video. Video everything. Live stream auction, personal profile, market wraps. We are now in the game of video. And I can tell you, my good friends and colleagues of realestate.com.au, which, by the way, there is a connection, obviously. I'm connected to News Corp and to realestate.com.au. But today I'm talking to you as a trainer, and I'm telling you straight that video has a I'm going to start again. That video has a higher engagement rate than anything else online. It's all about video. Move on. What do we got here? Sky Business, Monday night. We get about 25,000 viewers watching the show. Property Empire, 9:30 on a Monday night. I'm actually just having a look. I was talking to one of the videographers here. Yes, most people on TV are wearing runners, Nike shoes, ASICS shoes with a business suit. That's what I see. But I've got to tell you, the viewers on the show is far lower than the viewers I'm getting on my own social media channels. Look at that, 24 hours, 70,000 views. Want to go to the next slide? Look at that, next slide there. That's last Saturday. 55,000 views on that auction, right? So what I'm getting at is this. If you've got a tribe that's got your vibe, you have built your own TV channel in 2017. That's the secret. Build a tribe that's got your vibe. Let's move on. There's some 5 tips to win on social media in real estate. Number 1, make sure, like if I sell Danika's house and Danika is happy with me and she, I get a top result, I got to tell you, the fastest way for me to actually get the message out to the marketplace is to get Danika to give me a video testimonial that she says, Tom, you sold my home, you got top dollar, thank you so much. I get that video, I upload it onto social media and I tag and share it with Danika, and then Danika shares it with her audience, because share is the cut through. Share is recommendation on steroids. Share is what gets you into bigger communities. And I'm going to say to you right here, right now, that if you want to start winning listings, add a process to your sale. The minute the sold by goes up, video testimonial on your phone, upload it straight away, and it's not what you say to the market, it's what the market says to the market. Let's move on. Engagement. I'm obsessed with share, like, and comments. Share, like, and comments. That's what I care about. And if you want to turbocharge those, competitions. Run competitions. Like, what's a competition? We got an auction tonight. The person that guesses closest to what it sells for wins, I don't know. You want to get a lot of people? Fly them to Europe. You want to get some people? Give them a bottle of Moe. Give something, you'll get something. Next thing is number 4. It's never private. It's never private. So here's the deal. There's a guy or girl that's watching this video right now that has got the perfect realestate.com profile page. They've got the perfect page on their website about themselves. They look sharp. They've invested in a $2,000 suit. They've got a hot looking car. Everything stacks up. But on their social media pages, they've got them off their face, drunk, 3 nights a week. So they're confusing the market. Because on the one hand, they're sort of saying, hey, I really care about the community and I'm part of Rotary and I love supporting the local football club. But the photos on social media show that they're obsessed with the 6-pack and being off their face at Stereosonic. So one of the things that you've got to understand is this. Your audio must match your video. And what I mean by that is not literally, but what you say and what you do has to be in sync. Because authenticity is the game changer, your unique selling proposition in 2017. So let's move on. Other tips. I love Facebooking people before I meet them. I just like to see what they've been doing and thinking in the last 7 days. The next thing is uploading your database onto Facebook. It's in the Real Estate Gym on how to do it. It's a great strategy. What it does is if you've got 10,000 people, you upload them, you can actually cross-match who they are. So if they're in your pipeline, you can be sending stuff that Facebook's got their email and mobile, you got their mobile and email, and you can actually say to Facebook, I want to hit their timeline. Everything works in combination, not in isolation. And last but not least, live is massive. You saw 55,000 views, 55,000 views on that auction the other day in Croydon. Move on. The next slide. I have got a free giveaway. We are halfway through this webinar. Guys, how are we going? Are people staying on or are they leaving? Are we boring them? Are you glued to here? Have you got addiction to distraction? Are you hanging in there? Hang tight, because we're halfway through and I'm letting you know the good stuff is coming. I'm going to whet your taste bud. Here are 5 things that you can say on Saturday to help you win some appraisals at Open for Inspections. Get ready. Number 1, as buyers come through and open for inspection, the number 1 question that's going to get you an appraisal is this. How is the sale of your place going? Number 2, think about it. What are they going to say? We haven't got a property to sell. Oh, it's sold. Or it's not on the market yet. Bingo, potential vendor. What if they turned around and said this to this question? Here's my second question. Are you buying or browsing? That's a good one. Third one, what about this one? What brings you here today? Fourth one, are you researching or buying or selling? So guys and girls, your word is impeccable. Master scripts. And what are scripts? What are dialogues? They're the truth told efficiently. So that book there that you're seeing is called There Are No More Blind Dates in Real Estate. I've got the electronic version of that book free. It talks how you are going to win on realestate.com.au and on social media. And what I'd like to tell you is that if you go to tompanos.com.au, I don't even need your email. You don't have to opt in. It's none of these tricks. Get it free of charge. Okay. Move on. Next slide. I'd love you to do that audit. This audit is a really good thing for you to do to see how media fit you are. How media fit you are. Score yourself out of 10, 10 being the best, 0 being the worst, how media fit you are. I want you to understand that if you're going to be a brand attraction agent, if you're going to have listings coming into you versus you being this commission breath, desperate salesperson that is door knocking, cold all the time, you've got to actually work on your brand and work on your business. And forget about your franchisor. Forget about your boss. They're not going to come to the rescue. You're the problem. You're the solution. You've got to save yourself. You've got to make the steps. You've got to make the decision today that you are going to be the chief marketing officer of your brand. That's what you've got to do. Let's move on to the next slide. Why you need to invest in a PA, there's 10 reasons why. There is a lot of work that's got to get done. And what I've done is made it easy for all the people here today. I am giving you a position description. Have a look, a position description on what the person's got to be doing that you put on. The first person you put on is a red PA, a red PA. The second person you put on is a blue PA, a salesy PA. The first one's got to be admin based. There is a position description on a red PA. Okay, guys and girls, have a read of those results. 2016, interviewed my gym members. I asked them, tell me what are the qualities of the most important agents that were writing over 500 GCI a year. This is what they came up with. They work long, hard hours. I've said it before. If you don't know what the alarm clock or the alarm number in your office is, you're not playing the game. You need to know the alarm code. If you don't know the cleaner's number, if you don't know the cleaner's name, if you're not there, last one, I'm telling you straight, real estate's hard. It's the highest paid hard work and it's the lowest paid easy work. So what do we notice about really good people? They've got large volumes around their current transactions. They're problem solvers. They're process driven. They're trusted advisors. They're not one of these desperate salespeople saying, pick me. They go in there. They're value added. They show more, do more, give more. They go in there and they provide information. They help a client understand it is not about selling real estate, it's about house price maximization. They're going out there and they can show clients results of where the buyers are coming from. They're pulling out various reports that they've got. And I've got to tell you, some of the best reports that you've got at the moment are your realestate.com.au reports that you can show a potential client and say, have a look at what we're getting in engagement from other properties that are similar to yours. By the way, in this marketplace that's changing now, I'm going to tell you that if you want to really, turbocharge your vendor education, because some markets, the energy of buyers has dropped, you've got to get vendors to correct their price, correct their expectation. Vendor reporting on realestate.com.au is really important. Ring your account manager at realestate.com.au if you are not using those reports and get them to show you how to use them. Next thing is, they're married to the process, not the outcome. They're good at having crucial conversations and they have replaced bad days as just days of data. I want everyone to adopt one rule. I got to tell you, like if you actually ask me, what is the number one guiding principle of my life as an adult that has helped me achieve what I want in my life? And it's this one. Never take things personally. I never take anything personally. Lose a listing, I don't take it personally. Get rejected, prospecting, I never take it personally. A fight with a colleague, I never take it personally. Vendor dumps you, never take it personally. Understand, never take things personally. And you've got to accept this, because you've got to make rejection your best friend. Real estate is about big numbers, and I'm telling you straight that unless you get comfortable being uncomfortable, unless you get comfortable being rejected, unless you get comfortable failing, you're going to struggle in this business. Because if you want to succeed, you've got to fail faster. Next slide. The Magic 50. Maddie Lancashire. Maddie Lancashire from Ray White New Farm says, Tom, there's only one thing I really care about, and that's the Magic 50. The 50 people around a signboard. I will actually brainwash those people that I have been involved in that transaction. Just listed, just sold drops. Just listed, just sold calls. Just listed, just sold door knocks. You want to totally be the person that is seen as the Google of the marketplace. Let's move on to our next slide, and that is to the girl or guy that's totally disorganized. You know the one I'm talking about? The one that joined this webinar 10 minutes after it started? The one that shows up to open for inspections 5 minutes late? The one that takes the wrong keys to the properties? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Get yourself organized. Drop this story. You know, some people say, oh, Tom, I'm just not organized. Become organized. It's not enough for having high levels of energy. It's not enough, you know, just being a good influencer. You've actually got to run a process-driven business, because process trumps goals. Process trumps goals any day of the week. And what I'd love you to do is to use that one-pager template that I've pulled out of my gym that's going to keep you organized. So, Danica, can I confirm these slides are going to be made available to people? Okay, so you're getting the benefit of a lot of the content that I've created over the years. You're going to get this as a client of REA, but I'm going to say to you, you know what? There's a saying. There's no point being able to read if you're not reading. And I'm telling you, this stuff works when you work. Getting on the treadmill does nothing. It's actually walking on the treadmill that matters. So gang, I want to move on to that next slide, and I'm going to give you 8 letters that are going to give you total brainwashing, farming techniques, direct mail. 8 letters from one of our real estate gym members. Great girl. Thank you so much, Rachel. We love you. Rachel Fetchner from McGrath. She has provided us a systematic touchpoint system of direct mail to your farm area over an 8-week period. Those 8 letters are there that are going to help you get cut through, but you're going to use these letters in combination with your marketing, in combination with your Facebook strategy, in combination with your realestate.com strategy, in combination with your print strategy. So I do believe that direct mail works as long as it's in a systematic way and it is providing information to the consumer that makes them smarter, not information that makes you look like you are, you know, God's gift. And people, guys and girls, don't worry about that Rolex. Don't shove it in people's faces. They don't need to know that you're making heaps of money. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. Ego is the enemy. So I'm going to flip through those letters. I'm not going to go through them. They are being provided. If I were you, I'd start tomorrow, week 1. You're a Grand Slam period, by the way. You know that, don't you? August, September, October. You get it. I hope you understand that. I hope when you're watching this, that if you don't make money between August and November, December this year, man, you're out of the game. You're out of the game. You're deluding yourself. Move on. The value proposition. I'm going to do a time check. We got 20 minutes to go. We're going to allow 10 minutes for questions. I've actually got the questions that have been sent in to Danica. The value proposition. I want you to understand that as a real estate person, you only bring 2 things to the table. You bring a set of resources to attract more buyers. And the second thing you bring is your negotiation ability. So those 2 things, that's what you bring to the table. And here's a good piece of dialogue to deliver that at a listing presentation. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, it is the process and not the promise of a price that will get you top dollar. Can I go through that process? Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I've seen lots of owners lose tens of thousands of dollars at the time of sale because they tried to save a few $1,000s at the time of listing. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I refuse to mismarket your home and apologize later. By the way, all the scripts and dialogues that I've got, I take out of my real estate gym. In my real estate gym, there is hundreds of scripts and dialogues. There is templates, there is videos, there's accountability tools like My Prospector. And at the end of this video and webinar, I'm just going to show you how you can jump in if you actually missed the cutoff date, which I know many of you did because it only opens twice a year formally. So let's move on. And the listing presentation. The listing presentation to me is divided into three parts: after the meeting, before the meeting, and at the meeting. And I want you to clearly understand that you need to have what I call a really crafted, scripted pre-listing questionnaire. Why? Because the way that you can help read the play out a listing presentation is by understanding their problems. How do you do it? By having these questions answered on your phone call when you're setting up the appraisal. Have a look. Can I get a brief description of the property? When are you looking at selling? You want to find out, are they an immediate seller or a future seller? Because one of the dumbest things agents do is they go into a listing presentation and they start talking marketing and commission on someone that's coming on the market in 2021. Dumb. What you got to do there is a different strategy. You got to build a relationship with a client that they actually get on your pipeline and they like you. If they're an immediate seller, you got to go in there and you've got to actually ask for the business. And the way that you do it is you have an unstoppable listing presentation. So you are going to get those questions, and I'm going to move on to the next slide. This is a killer template. Send it out prior to your appointment when you go in, and it shows the references of people that you have listed and sold previously, their names, addresses, their mobiles, their emails. Says, listen, don't listen to me, trust my clients. That's power. They might not even ring them, but it is absolute power. Guys and girls, understand references. It's not what you say to the market, it's what the market says to the market. Let's move on. Oh, can I just say, when do you send that? Send it out as part of your pre-list. Here's what you send in your pre-list. Those questions. Sorry, cul-de-sac, and I can't get out. What you send is this. You send them your references following the questions you've asked. You send them a video. You send them the agency agreement. That's right. Send them the agency agreement. Don't put the commission, but send them the paperwork. I just think that it's really professional to be transparent and say, this is the paperwork that you activate to get me working as an agent. Next slide. I like this one. It's the one-page dashboard that actually shows what you've sold previously, where the properties were marketed, how much money was invested in marketing, and what the property sold for. And what it actually does, it actually even says where the buyer came from. And why is this important? Because stories sell, facts tell. Be a good storyteller. Everyone needs to have one of these templates made. Move on to the next slide. This is a really good upsize slide. What you do is have a property, battery's gone. I am going to go off and I'm going to try and memorize the rest of the slides. I doubt whether I'll get them right, but here's a go at it. What you're seeing there is the first one is a quarter-page ad. Then what I'll do is I want to show you when we move on to the next slide, which actually shows you as a half-page ad. And then what we see is what it looks like as a full-page ad. So guys and girls, what I'm saying to you is this. The best way to actually go off and to upsize advertising is to say to a vendor, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, if I was a buyer, or if you were a buyer, and you were looking to buy a home, and you saw those ads, which one would appeal to you most? And shut up. This technique is called evidence-based marketing. You create the evidence and then you get them to choose instead of you shoving marketing down their throat. What does a great estate agent do? They use question-based presentation. What does a bad agent do? They make statements. Let's move on to that next slide there. That one, there's a simple slide that just shows you perceived value of a quarter page, full page, and half page. Very powerful. Next slide. I love that slide there that you're looking at. It's a case study. It shows a property with a breakout box on the bottom left. It actually says that this property here sold for this price, had so many properties, how many people inspected, days on market, talks about the marketing, talks about what the commission was. Why? People love case studies. Stories sell, facts tell. Let's move on to that next slide now. And I love the bidders template. The bidders template is a slide that actually shows, if you're an auction-based agent, what properties you've sold in the past, where they were marketed, what they sold for, and what each bidder paid. Because what does it say? Every time you take marketing, you take away a bidder. And you take away a bidder, you take away the bid. What you're doing is building a narrative. You're being a good storyteller. And that's what great agents do. They build a narrative that the more marketing we have, the more bums on seats we have, the more bums on seats we have, the more people I have to negotiate with, the more people I have to negotiate with, I can get you a 10% premium. Let's move on to that next slide. Here's a really good slide in helping you to chasing expired listings. What it does is each week you have the address of a property and you monitor it. I love this slide. Why? Because it helps you build your product knowledge. Because if you're going to be the trusted advisor, if you're going to be the agent that smashes it in your marketplace, what you've got to do is be the person that is the most educated. And what you've got to do is you've got to know what every property is on the market and every property that has been sold in the last 3 months. So use that template to chase expired listings. Let's move on to that next slide. The listing management system. Love this. By the way, I love systems on everything. Why? Because process trumps goals. Process trumps goals. Checklist, checklist, checklist. Think about it. McDonald's serves hundreds of burgers in half an hour because of a system. You have to move from an energy-driven business to a process-driven business. How does this slide work? Really simple. Week 1, they get a letter, they get an offer. Week 2, they get a letter, they get an offer. That's how you get a vendor to accept the reality of the marketplace, by high-level vendor education. Let's move on to the next slide. The buyer-seller meeting. The buyer-seller meeting is a really important meeting that allows you to find if a vendor is overpriced. It helps you understand what price they are really going to accept. And the way it works is this. You establish and find all the buyers that you've got that would buy that property at the sell today price. So how do you establish the sell today price? You ask other agents in your office, if we had to sell this listing today, what price would it have to be? Then what you do is you get the buyers that can afford the sell today price. You suss out whether they're ready to go. And then step 3 is you ring up your vendor and you say, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I have 3 buyers who are ready to go. They have a limit of 800. Am I wasting my time bringing them around? There's only 1 of 3 responses you'll get. Yes, you're wasting your time, or they'll say, will they come up? Or they'll say, bring them around. Bingo, this is how to find out the true vendor take figure without asking the true vendor take figure. Our next slide, as we come towards this end of this webinar, and I'm really hoping that you've enjoyed it and that you feel that the hour that you have invested here has given you content, and there's 3 SMS messages that you can use as part of your SMS trail at the end of an open for inspection that is going to help you create more deals in this marketplace, because the market has slowed in a lot of Australia and you've got to be a deal maker, not an order taker. You are not selling Coke Zero at 7-Eleven. You are creating deals in the marketplace. You are selling one of the most difficult things you can do, and that is you are selling yourself to someone that doesn't know you. And that's a massive sale. That's a massive sale. You're also selling assets, items, commodities of $3 million. So you better get good at negotiating And I'm a big believer in text messages in 2017. In fact, if I want to get onto someone, text is the fastest way I'll do it. I'll say, are you free to talk? And wait for a response. Next. 5 laws of negotiation. In summary, always act displeased on the first offer. The way you handle that first offer is critical. The second thing is critical. Ask for an increase there and then. The third thing is always negotiate. Always negotiate with decision makers. Walking away is part of negotiation. Understand that the deal keeps going till it's signed. Understand that. They're going to keep negotiating till it's signed. And the last thing, I think we've covered everything there, but most importantly, what I'm getting at is this. You know who's a good negotiator? The agent that's got lots of deals up in the air. Why? Because they're not desperate. And desperate negotiators have got commission breath coming out of their mouth. Let's move on. $1 million agent choices. I love this. The 5 a.m. club. The way you start your day is the way your day unfolds. And I'm going to tell you, being part of the 5 a.m. club is a fantastic way to get real estate fit. What do you do at 5 o'clock? Okay, exercise. Write out your most important tasks. Listen to a podcast. All I'm saying is the way you start your day is the way your day unfolds. Danica, what time did you wake up this morning? Danica waked up at 6:30. You know what? She's already about half an hour ahead of the average. Your goal, Danica, is tomorrow is 6 o'clock. The day before is, you know what, guys and girls, can I show you an app that is going to help you become what I call a habit person? It's called Streaks. There it is there. And I've got one goal at the moment, and that is to drink 2 liters of water per day. What this app does, it allows you to set goals, anything you want, and if you achieve it, you just tap on it, and it measures. What do I like about this? What you measure, you manage. What gets scheduled, gets done. So what are a couple of things that I'd like you to put in there as habits into Streaks? $7.95. No affiliation. I'm not involved in it. 5 a.m. club, 30 call connects per day, crucial conversations, go ugly early. What do I mean by that? Tell people what they need to hear. Don't be soft. They don't need a psychotherapist. They need a real estate agent to get their property sold. Next thing is podcast. John McGrath and I, Troy Malcolm, $1 Million Agent, sponsored by REA. Every week, 1 million downloads. Get onto it. Your car is a university on wheels. Listen to that podcast. Scripts and dialogues, daily exercise, vendor paid advertising, become good at VPA. And the last thing there, reference group. What I mean by reference group, hang around with good people. You want to be a dickhead? Hang around with 4 dickheads. It'll happen automatically. You want to be a winner? Hang around with winners. Remember, you hang out with the negative people in the back of the office, misery loves company. And the last one is become good at buyer management. Let's move on to that next slide. The agent that generates most amount of appointment wins. That's the short version of this webinar. And the last slide there is, by the way, during the break, I actually checked with Susan that runs Real Estate Gym has opened up. The Real Estate Gym's closed, but she told me that during the break, during the first webinar, she opened up the doors for realestate.com people today that are on this webinar. $567 a year or $59 a month. We only do it, we open it up at mid-year and we open it up in December, January. If you're not a member, you can go on and join there and you'll get all of that. You'll get all the scripts and dialogues, and those that join today will also get $495 script DVD free of charge. But if you don't join, that's okay as well, because I still love you. Most importantly, guys and girls, I want to answer 6 questions. They came in during the week. Let's go through them. Number 1, how can I uniquely pitch myself against a dominant agent? I've tried enthusiasm, Tom. I've pushed service, Tom. I've pushed recent testimonials, Tom. It's hard to pitch against someone who has a 50% market share and a story to tell. Well, let me tell you, young man, or young girl, you have a story to tell. I mean, you just didn't come out of the sky yesterday. You are someone. You've done things. Here's your story, by the way, because you reckon that they've got a story. I'll give you your story. Listen very carefully. Any young agent that's watching this video now, your investment in this video, which is no investment, it's free, right? So it's no investment. Your investment's been your time. Listen to this. This is worth your time if you know this conversation. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I'm new. I work in an office in an area that has been going for 15 years. And whilst I'm relatively new, my office has a total of 150 years experience. When you hire me, you're hiring us. And by the way, at the moment, I only have one listing. What this means is this, that when you appoint me as your agent, I won't have a conflict of interest. I won't have 15 properties that I'm worried about. I'll only have yours and one other. What this means is that I spend my waking hours trying to find a buyer for your home. What this means is that I won't end up having a buyer buy another property because I'm concentrating on your property. What it means is this, that as a new agent, I have to prove myself each and every day. An experienced agent can feel it's their entitlement to have your business. Not for me. It would be a privilege to represent you. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I can tell you that I will work harder than any other real estate agent on the planet the minute you appoint me. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, when you list with an agent that's got 50% market share, what you're listing is with someone that's going to be so busy that they're going to be giving all the work out to their juniors. You're not going to be dealing with that person. Whereas with me, you get me. You hire me, you get me. I talk to the buyers. I'm at the open from start to finish. I do all the callbacks. I do all the negotiation. I do all the feedback. I'm accountable. When can I get to work? That's the story you've got to give. So whoever wrote that question, I'm telling you right here, right now, change your story and you change your life. Move on. Number 2. Is door knocking and letterbox dropping really worthwhile in today's society? Well, I covered it in the webinar. As long as the letters are like Rachel's letters, where they're adding information and they're not out there saying, hey, I'm the best, look at me, look at my $2,000 suit. Hey, they do work as long as you're adding information and you are being a source of sales or listings in the market. As for door knocking, well, I don't think this works. Hi, it's Tom here. Do you want to sell your house? Rubbish. That is interrupting strangers who don't want to talk to you. Try this. Hi, it's Tom here from ABC Realty. I'm letting you know that a house 3 doors up has just been sold. Would you like to know what the new value of your home is? That door knocking works. Number 3. Is cold calling a thing of the past? Is it easier in this day to gain appraisals? Yes. When I say is it a thing of the past, it is if you're doing cold door knocking. It's not if you're doing warm door knocking. And I'm also going to tell you, here are the things that I'd be doing right now. Master having world-class opens. Win the digital interview. Win the social interview. Start uploading videos onto Facebook with you in them, looking like an expert. Upgrade your marketing, work the shot callers in your marketplace. What I mean by that, people that make decisions, accountants, lawyers, chambers of commerce. Start working in cafes. That's right. Start making your callbacks, drinking a coffee at a cafe, put your open house board down, don't open it. People know if you're wearing a suit with a board and a phone that you're probably a real estate agent, and they're going to come up and they're going to talk to you. That's how you win business in 2017, being immersed in the market, not immersed in the office. Let's move on. Question number 4. Some of our staff struggle with the grind of prospecting and the lack of motivation, determination of others. Do you have examples of prospecting and processes that are visually or emotionally rewarding? Emotionally rewarding? Look at your group certificate. For God's sake, do you realize there are people out there that are earning $40,000 a year sweeping streets? Second thing is, Look at people. Look at other role models. Tom Hector, Taney Jane. Go into the real estate gym. Their systems are there, word for word. The letters, the templates are all there. Let's move on. Number 5. How do you break into a high-end market dominated by a couple of agencies that are selling the top end that have been there for years? I hear what you're saying. You want to start selling prestige properties. You want to start getting higher fees. How do you do it? A couple of ways. Number 1, align yourself with a high-selling agent. Offer yourself free of charge going to the opens. Number 2, you might have to discount on fee just once or twice to get a big property, and then scream with a megaphone and let the whole world know you were the agent that sold it. Number 3, understand you got to play the long game. And what I'm saying there is never compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 10. Earn your stripes. Number 6, let's move on. What points of contact would you make to a potential vendor who's looking to sell for at least a year? So this is a pipeline question. How do you stay in contact with someone that's coming on the market in a year? It's really simple. You don't ring them up and say, "Hi, it's Tommy, I'm just checking in to see how you are." They know that you're lying. They don't care about that. You ring up and say, "Hi, I'm letting you know this is what's just sold. This is what's just sold." Guys and girls, I'm going to finish off and saying that jab, 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 hook. That's success in real estate. You might have to jab for 2 years. My final words to you are, on behalf of realestate.com.au, presenting this webinar on winning hidden listings in the marketplace, I hope you have a future much bigger than your past. And remember, who you are is not who you can be. See you next time.